Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is yours truly, David McCaig. It is Thursday, September the 13th, 2018, and we're here live on location at Northern Superior Brewing Company here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and we have an action-packed show as always here with the Game Sports Show. And you listen to the Game Sports Show on the gamesportshow.podbean.com, or you're listening to the Game Sports Show on our website, www.thegamesportshow.com. And if you are listening on the website, don't hesitate to veer over to the merchandise portion. Don't hesitate to veer over to the episodes portion where you can listen to previous editions of the Game Sports Show, or even email the Game Sports Show at ssm@gmail.com. Again, the Game Sports Show, ssm@gmail.com, to order some of our merchandise for only $25, with proceeds going towards charities, Northern Careers in Need, and Big Brother, Big Sister. Now, tonight here at Northern Superior Brewing Company, the agenda of the show, we're going to have the usual introduction portion here. We're going to take a break after that, and it'll be followed by having Tyler Malpass come on to the show from the Soo Thunderbirds. Then after that, there will be another break, followed by some massive NHL news discussions. And let me tell you some of the topics. Steve Yzerman steps down as GM from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wonder where he's going to go next. We have Erik Karlsson getting traded. You have Tyler Seguin signing a massive deal. What does that do for Austin Matthews' contract? Another contract dispute. William Nylander. Buddy wants $8 million. Toronto saying, nah, we want to give you $6 million. How's that going to pan out? Justin and I are going to talk about that in the third portion of the show. It's going to be myself and Justin Hykel being your voices here tonight, as Brad Kochmilio has taken yet another vacation day, as he's busy though in town with work, as he is affiliated with Soo today. And obviously Dane Hanshaw will not be coming back on until the end of October, and that is official. Now, with the Game Sports Show, we have released news last week officially that the Game Sports Show will be launching a beer along with Northern Superior Brewing Company as the beer, the Game Blonde Ale. We were aiming for that to be launched September the 30th. However, that has been delayed due to the massive busyness here at Northern Superior Brewing Company, which is a good thing with the launch of the new beer that just came out as well. The Game Sports Show Blonde Ale will be coming out, projected now, will be delayed until November the 1st, 2018, and will be available for purchase on location at the brewing company and at local restaurants as well. And definitely going to be a delicious beer. The Game Blonde Ale, they're taking an old ingredient, mixing it with a new ingredient, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. So make sure you keep an eye on the launch of the Game Blonde Ale. Now, without further ado, I'm going to bring in the guy who's been along my side for almost 4 years now, from the I like to say the parts of 4 years ago where it's just myself, Justin, and a few of our friends talking to my cell phone to record a show and uploading it on our old Podomatic page. Now that we've grown to do a show here with some equipment, and now doing the show on Podbean and having our website and everything, the one and only guy that people like to call Justin Hykel. I had a little hesitation there, Justin, because I was going to say something about your beard, but I kind of held that. I was going to say about your hat, because usually I go with the hat. Or say something. You know what? You wear a different hat. You're very sharp dressed. But is that because you were standing in a line for the Catch the Ace today, along with half of, if not 3/4 of Sault Ste. Marie?
You win $600,000, Dave. You got to look good.
Who's dressed better though tonight? You or me?
I'm going to say me.
Okay, now speaking of Catch the Ace, I'm going to give them a little promotion there, a little shout out to the Esquire. The work that they do for Sault Ste. Marie is absolutely amazing. And the jackpot tonight, I believe, and I know Justin will correct me if I'm wrong, or people in the background will correct me if I'm wrong, because I know the entire Sault Ste. Marie knows, is $600,000, I believe, is the jackpot. And the for sure take home is, I think, just north of $60,000 as well. But there's still a numerous amount of envelopes to be chosen. I'm going to say it here. I said it a couple weeks ago. I'm going to stand by it. The envelope that is going to be selected is number 20. I'm going to say it right now.
48.
And I know Justin is saying 48. And you know what? It's definitely going to be very interesting. It's done very good for Sault Ste. Marie. There's people waiting in line at 7 a.m. for the ticket, and one of those people were my father and my grandpa. So I give them a shout out for waiting under the umbrella, holding down the fort, and also me giving him money to buy my book of tickets for me, as I was unable to wait in line and sacrifice myself.
Coffee at least?
I didn't give him money for anything, actually, to be totally honest with you, Justin. Not yet, except the money for the ticket. Do you know what I mean by that?
You sent your poor dad out there.
I didn't give him money yet. It's because I'm going to win the $600,000. I know by the time the show is uploaded, they'll be verified if I did win or not. So all those aside, we will see how that goes. But the whole point of this is to give a little shout out to the Esquire, because that is absolutely great work that it has done. Now, future kind of agenda with the show that I want to jump into. We're going to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. For the future agenda of the show, we're going to be back on live air on Monday at the Wicked Sisters, Sault Ste. Michigan. Myself, Scott Nason, Butch Davis, EJ Russell, and from Eagle 95.1, Katie Wolin. We'll be back on Eagle 95.1 at 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. for the first hour, and then it'll be podcasted and pre-recorded from 7 until 8. Make sure you come on down to the Wicked Sister to enjoy that great atmosphere as well, and the many beers that they have on top there. Also next week we'll be at the Sports Center Bar and Grill as usual at 9 p.m. Myself, Jamie, Matt, and hopefully Dustin and Justin can join again as well. Make sure you check out last night's show at Sports Center Bar and Grill. It's definitely an action-packed, crew-packed show, and we talked about a lot along with our predictions going into week 2. Then obviously next week we'll be at Northern Superior Brewing Company here. However, the date is going to change. It will not be on Thursday, as yours truly and the man sitting across from me, Justin Hykel, will be at a stag for one of my best friends. I'm staying up at his wedding as a best man this year, Jerry Patingolo. His stag will be on the 20th, and so we will be doing the show. We projected to do it on the 21st at 6 p.m. is where we are aiming to do it. So make sure you mark that down in your calendars. And you know what? If you're looking to go to a stag, there's going to be no better stag to go to than to Jerry Patingolo's. There's almost 70 plus prizes, some free beer, and there's also some delicious food from Northern Grand Gardens. So you can get your tickets from yours truly for just $30. Now, every Monday we'll be at the Wicked Sister at 6 p.m. unless there's a holiday or a change. And every Wednesday at Sports Center we will be there at 9 p.m. So it's a once-a-week occurrence. And obviously here at Northern Superior Brewing Company every Thursday, or any chance of agenda change, we'll keep you notified as well, just like next week, for instance. We'll also be at the John Rhodes a lot this year, and also some games at the Polar Stadium with working with the Soo Thunderbirds, and also with our Across the River edition working with the Sioux Eagles. And we still do have 2 more editions of the Game Sports Show to be aired at Silver Creek Golf Course, aiming for the end of the month and the beginning of October, before we close out with Silver Creek Golf Course until the beginning of next summer. Now, Justin, you and I are going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to welcome a very special guest, probably and hopefully a new fan of the show, of the Game Sports Show, and hopefully gain an additional follower on the Game Sports Show. You're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or on our website, thegamesportshow.com. Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel at Northern Superior Brewing Company. We'll be right back after we pay our bills, and we'll be right back after these messages.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the 2nd year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, alongside Justin Hykel. We're here live at Northern Superior Brewing Company for the Thursday edition of the Game Sports Show, and we have a special guest joining us from the Soo Thunderbirds, forward 1999 birth year, Tyler Malpass. Tyler, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Very happy you came on the show. I kind of asked Trevor last minute, not gonna lie. It was but definitely happy to have you on. Last week we had your teammate Ryan on. I know we're gonna have a pretty good story to talk about with Ryan now, especially with a lot of reactions from the listeners saying how composed he seemed on the show, and we'll bring up some stuff about that in a little bit. But we're just going to discuss the last game of this past weekend. I know you were only unfortunately able to play one game due to an incident that happened the first game, and then we'll talk about the game you have this weekend, Sunday, against Elliott Lake. So first and foremost, you were born in Sault Ste. Marie, and playing with the Thunderbirds this year, you're going into a season that ended a little bit earlier than you wanted to last year, per se. What are your expectations for the rest of this year for the Soo Thunderbirds?
For this year, we got a good core group of guys coming back, and all our young guys that we have, our first years, they've already proved that they can play at this level and that they got the skill. So I think we're going to have a solid group, and we're going to go deep in the playoffs, and hopefully we can bring home some hardware this year.
It'd be good to get that hardware, to get a ring on your finger.
Yeah, absolutely, a ring on my finger.
Now, you were born in Sault Ste. Marie, but you were raised mostly in Minnesota. So you left
correct.
Little Hockey Town, Ontario, I believe is the way we like to call it, but then you go to the state of hockey in Minnesota. You came back to Sault Ste. Marie. Tell us the story about that and that transition, going from literally a different country to come back home to Sault Ste. Marie. How did that all happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
What made you move? What made you come home? That sort of thing.
Well, when I moved from Sioux, my parents actually got a job down in the States, Minnesota. So I moved down there, and I was fortunate enough to play high school hockey down in Minnesota. And I got to play with a lot of great guys, a lot of guys that went D1. I actually played with one of my teammates, Reilly, who got drafted first round to Dallas Stars right out of high school, and he's now playing for University at Minnesota Duluth. Nice. So that was pretty cool to play with him. And then I got the opportunity to play juniors up in Fort Frances my first year, my rookie year. I was 17, and I played there. And then my next year I got traded here back to the Sioux and came back home, and I just loved it. And living with family, back here, and a great group of guys, so I decided to come back again, and here we are.
Back home in good old Sault Ste. Marie, now playing for the Soo Thunderbirds. T-Bot.
T-Bot.
I like to say, I know, are you familiar with that term?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I got to say something, kind of a little loose. When we had the launch show here in August, we had Trevor, obviously your general manager and representative here with Northern Superior Brewery. We were planning to do a alumni game against you guys.
Okay.
Now, that is still waiting to be announced. I'm letting Trevor obviously do the peer announcement to give me the news of that. So you might have the luxury of playing some of the old school Soo Thunderbirds that used to be the original T-Bot.
Yeah.
Now, if we play you guys, do you expect a hard-fought game? Or do you expect like a serious game? Or do you think it's going to be all loose and deuce?
Well, it might be loose and deuce, but if the score is kind of tight, it might get a little serious. You guys are obviously competitive guys. You play junior hockey. We're competitive guys too.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just see what happens. It might be a good game. Might be a lot of fun.
That'd be a lot of fun. Well, Trev's gonna say don't get any injuries out there.
Yeah.
So I'll make sure. I'll probably be the only one who has a risk of getting an injury now because I'm playing 50 pounds more overweight than when I played. A lot to look forward to when you get older. Justin, I'm gonna slide over to you just to give Tyler a question before we really dive into the news from the past weekend's games.
I guess you're pretty well traveled. Sioux, Minnesota, Fort Frances.
Yep.
That's a bit of a jaunt up there. I asked Ryan last week. We talked to. I asked Ryan last week, because he's from the States too. What's one of the big things he misses from the States? That you wish you could have here, or what's one thing you like here you wish you could have had back in the States?
It's actually a pretty good question. And Ryan said the zone or the jump zone.
The trampoline place.
The zone.
Trampoline.
Yeah, there's like a big trampoline.
Sky zone.
Sky zone. There we go. Sky zone. Yeah.
Okay. Well, one thing I do, I like Chipotle. Have you ever had Chipotle? No. Chipotle.
I've heard the rumors.
Oh my, hands down, Chipotle is probably one of my favorite restaurants. I eat there probably 3 times a week when I'm home. I wish they had Chipotle in Canada. Well, not in Canada, but in the Sioux. In the Sioux, they don't have it in the Sioux. I think the only Chipotle I've seen in Canada has been at Toronto.
Yeah, I was going to say Toronto probably.
So definitely I'd have to go with Chipotle on that one.
Is there anything that you miss that we have that your home doesn't, or is that a far-fetched question?
Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons. You know,
okay.
I do love Timmy's. You know, good coffee. They got good coffee. Food's cheap. But, you know, Tim Hortons just got great food.
What are you taking in coffee?
Double.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, it's fun. A lot of brains out here, and also we agree on a defenseman in the National Hockey League that Justin's not going to be a fan of. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's jump into the first game of the season. Your home opener against your border rivals, Sault Michigan Eagles. You know, it's always a very intense game, no matter where the game is. If it's at the John Rhodes or the good old Polar Stadium. Get us through the game. You know, Lucas Terrio had 4 points in the game. You had a goal and assist yourself. We know it was near the tail end of the third period, correct, is where you got the elbow to the face, let's say, and a dislocation of your jaw. Yeah. And then we had Ryan Lawrence step in to back you up in an attempt to fight the player on the Sioux Eagles, and obviously the fight didn't really turn out because the Eagles player kind of avoided the fight, let's say, and Ryan Lawrence staying up your ground, which I'm sure you like to see that in a teammate, especially an ultimate captain like Ryan. But going through the game, 7-5 win. Start the season 1-0. Definitely a good way to start the season out of the gate, going up 1-0, and definitely an intense game all fourth, it seems like.
Yeah, well, you know, we started off good. We potted one right away, and they were able to answer off of a turnover we had. You know, we had some turnovers, they capitalized, which is, you know, how the game goes. But, you know, we were moving the puck really well. This first game of the season, you know, we didn't expect too much, but we came out there, we played our systems really well, and we got our bounces, moving the puck really well. And I was on a line with Nick Smith and Nolan Ford, and we were clicking really well and getting the puck back in the net, so it went good.
It's definitely good to beat, especially when it comes to the Eagles, get those wins for the bragging rights, because I'm sure after playing here before, you probably know some of the guys on the other side, and if not that well, I can tell you from being affiliated with the Game Sports Show on the United States side, since we're obviously on the Canadian side, as the Eagles and Eagle 95.1 are all in entity, you know, working with all the Eagle players as well. They're definitely looking forward to the matchups against the Soo Thunderbirds. So the intensity for the games with the Sioux Eagles, is that just an extra different kind of atmosphere when you play the Eagles opposed to playing other teams in the league? I know there's a little bit of hostility when you guys play Rayside, that goes without saying because of what happened last year in the playoffs, but you must love that energy, having that extra rivalry, especially being from Sault Ste. Marie. You know, must be just kind of great to be a part of that rivalry here.
Oh, absolutely. It's when we play the Eagles, you know, the intensity just rises up even more. You know, they don't like us and we don't like them, and we like to beat them, and you know, we try to do our best, and I don't think they'll beat us too many times this year. So.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to use that as a quote. No, I won't throw it us like that.
You should.
Wait, you should? Okay, I like that.
Absolutely.
I like that. Now, you got the win 7-5, and you go up 1-0. Now you play on Sunday. You played Sunday against Rayside, and you guys won 3-2. A little bit of a closer game, 3-2. Obviously, it's a game that you were unfortunately not a part of due to your injury. But can you talk us through the game? What worked that game to get you past Rayside?
Oh, absolutely. Going into Rayside, they have a little bit of a smaller rink than we do at home. And they got some big boys, you know, they like to lay the bod, but we just moved the puck well, moved it quick, got some dumps, you know, used our forecheck, played our trap, and they just couldn't hang with us.
Did Coach Parco, did he tell you guys any kind of weaknesses that was in the first game to change in that second game? There must have been, when you let 5 goals, I know there's always like, there's kind of the area where you go, okay, this team let up 5 goals and the defensive end must have struggled. But obviously you guys scored 7 goals, so that's definitely a big part of being able to bounce back and keep up in the game. But there must have been some stuff that the coaches have, especially with Kovacs being behind the bench as well, you know, being a very systematic guy from what I remember him being when I was in my younger days. So did they address anything that you guys had to change going into the second game?
Oh, well, absolutely. You know, we watched the video and made some tweaks and finessed our game a little bit, but it was just first game of the season. You know, everybody had nerves, just a couple of bad turnovers, bad bounces, and they just capitalized. It wasn't anything major.
Justin?
No, I mean, this one's maybe a little off the wall, but we're close here. I like to ask guys, now you're 2 games in. Is there anyone on the team, any of these first years on the team, that maybe us as, you know, media guys haven't talked about yet that maybe we should be keeping our eyes on this year, or are you going to keep them a secret?
Wow, okay.
2 games in right now. Maybe we'll
It's
keep
tough.
it on
It's
the
tough.
low.
It's tough.
If any opponents are listening, we don't want to give away our secret weapon here. But
No. I think you might be the secret weapon. Maybe Lawrence's anger that we honestly think it isn't a thing might be that secret weapon. But when you guys play this weekend against Elliott Lake, having the one game, you get a nice little time off. You don't play till Sunday. It's awesome. So what have you been working on this week in practice, besides getting you 100% yourself? But what has been some of the stuff that the coach has been working on in practice that you're allowed to say? Obviously, you can't give away systems, give the opponents anything to kind of work on. But what kind of things have you guys been working on this week? And do you feel that the team is a little bit more prepared, a little bit more comfortable? Because when you play the first game, some of these guys are newer guys, and there's a lot of guys that return and everything. But after the first game, get the jitters out. The chemistry is still trying to get back into it. Do you see that the chemistry's back and that the work this week of practice, has it been all business as usual, or has there been some new stuff that's been brought forth?
Oh yeah, well, we've been having a little bit of fun with it, trying to get the guys to gel a little bit more and just moving the puck in practice well, and just lots of passes, lots of touches on your stick, and we're just putting our systems in and getting ready to work.
Just working, put everything working. Is that in the league today? We discussed this with Ryan, how it's such big evolution from what it used to be, not even just 5 years ago, 2 years ago, but even beyond 10 years ago. It goes without saying. But in today's game, junior hockey, it's definitely a game, I don't know if you agree, there's a lot of speed. You go down the wing, a lot of hard-nosed speed guys. Defense, they got a lot of restrictions. You guys had a lot of rule changes this year as well in terms of what you can do with body contact. It's a lot more restricted. You used to get away with a hook or a little pull on the jersey. The ref would, didn't see that sort of thing, especially if you're at Polar Stadium. And I can say that because I was part of the Eagles one time. I tell you, the refs weren't always with the whistles in those types of games. So obviously that's changed now, obviously, since how it's evolved. Do you feel that this game is evolving in the right way in speed in terms of this junior hockey? Is it keeping up and getting you prepared for that next level? Or do you feel that there's still some improvements that need to be made in junior hockey?
Well, I think it's obviously going in the right direction, and obviously there's a little bit more improvements that can always be done, but getting away from the big bruiser type of game and more skill and speed, which is obviously the way you want to go, because that's the way hockey should be played. You don't need guys going around there running and throwing body for no reason. Move the puck, put the puck in the back of the net's fun to watch. That's what people want to see. Yeah. See, people always said they like to see the fighting in sport hockey, and I agree. I believe fighting should be a part of hockey. However, it takes away from the speed. There is a place for it. There's definitely a place. You got the movies like Goon out there that I'm sure that tap the guy to go out there. Doug Glatt, send him out there. But obviously with the Soo Thunderbirds, they're always known as a team with speed and talent. And you know what? Definitely you being a part of this team, you're in that locker room every day. And you know what? There's guys like Ryan, guys like yourself, Lucas, who's been around there with you guys. Do you feel in the locker room that the team is already like a brotherhood? We've talked about this with Ryan last week as well, Justin, where the tragedy with Humboldt, and they had their home opener yesterday, which I feel was obviously pretty emotional to watch. But hockey is that brotherhood, right? You guys have that right away. And do you guys feel that in that locker room now? Because always with the Thunderbirds and having the staff and the team that you guys have, it's always been known for its respect as an organization. Oh, absolutely. I think we came together as a group pretty quick, and we had a good, like I said again, a good core group of guys coming back, and we got some good leadership this year with a lot of older guys, and I think we gelled pretty quick, and we got some opportunities to do some off-ice bonding, and that's just the way it goes, come together as a team, and I think we've done that already.
Now, off-season, jump into kind of the off-season, get you prepared for this year, so sort of backtracking a little bit. Training has definitely differentiated a little bit than what it used to be as well. Much with the game of hockey is how it's evolved. For you to get prepared for this season, did you change a training regimen, or do you have one? I know some NHL players, friends and listeners of the show, that sit on the boat for the first 2 months of their summer and they work out the last 2 weeks. I won't say his name, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but this guy just signed a pretty big contract. But besides the point, but the thing is, what do you feel for the training is the best, and what have you done to get prepared for this season?
Well, obviously you need to take a break. The hockey season, it's a long season. It's a grind sometimes. So you got to take your break and have a little bit of fun. But after that break, you got to get back to work. I like to go out and run hills. That's big for me.
Nice.
Get a lot of leg power in. On the ice is not as big as it was for me, like growing up, I found. But just getting out there, just working hard and that's really about it.
I know Justin has the curious educational question he's going to shoot over at you, so I'll let him ask that to you.
It's a curious educational question, but as far as like outside of hockey goes, what are your goals school-wise? What do you plan on? Do you plan on keeping going with hockey, or do you got a plan B in mind as well?
Well, obviously hockey is my goal, and I want to play college hockey, and I definitely think I can play college hockey, and I think I play at the next level. But there's always a plan B. If I'll go to school, maybe go to Soo College or something, or what. I'm not really sure with that in mind yet, but I still got this year and another year after a junior's left, so I plan on playing those. Yeah, I got a little bit of time, but I got a plan B for sure.
Are you currently in school, or are you taking a break from school or going part-time or anything currently?
I took a break last year from school and just worked, saved up a little bit of money, but now this year I'm going to go back to Soo College, take a couple classes, get back in the swing of school. It's always good to be in school and keep that going. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I take that break from school. I took 2 years. I didn't go back till I was 21 years old. It's hard to jump back into it. But obviously, I never really listened to the Superior side, or people usually don't. They just say, school, I can wait. So that's definitely important that you have the goals to go back there. And, it translates. The education you learn in the classroom does help on the ice. Intelligence grows with you everywhere. So this weekend, against Elliott Lake, you guys are home. 7 p.m. puck drop at the John Rhodes Community Center. The John Rhodes is a barn that is, I think, very different than a lot of other rinks in junior hockey. Okay, and I don't mean that in any kind of insulting way to the John Rhodes or to the city of Sault Ste. Marie or to the Thunderbirds by any means. But it's a rink that is the capacity does hold a bit less than what some other rinks in junior hockey do. But how do you feel about the ice at the John Rhodes Community Center? And I was told to kind of ask this from an outside source to my guests that play for the Thunderbirds, because the John Rhodes Community Center has always been known for having a great ice surface and a well-maintained ice and a great atmosphere to play. And when you have a packed house, it's loud in there. Oh, yeah. And it's definitely a good spot, but it's because it's a smaller volume. It's not like you're playing at the Porter Stadium or anything of such. But any kind of compliments or any kind of explanation you want to give on your end about the John Rhodes ice, or do you like the atmosphere at the John Rhodes? And what's your favorite rink in the NOJHL to play at? And it's okay to say another rink. I've said another rink when I play, so you're allowed to.
Yeah, I know that John Rhodes has great ice. The guys there do a great job. The Zamboni crew do an awesome job, and our fans bring it every night. They bring the intensity every night. They're loud. They love to be loud. Good fans. And favorite rink in the Noj. We had the opportunity to play in Hearst last year.
Yeah.
And that was a very cool place to play. Yeah, not gonna lie, but my favorite, I'm gonna have to go at John Rhodes for sure.
Oh, I like that. You're sticking with the home. I like that. Now, on your end, as a player, your strengths and an area that you want to see yourself improve. There's always an area that a player feels like you want to improve, unless your name's Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby. And I still think Crosby's better than McDavid, by the way. I like this flat, I'll say that. But that's off topic. You're yourself. When you write down your skills in your head, or you think about it, what is one area that you feel is really noticeable on the ice for yourself, and what is one area that you want to improve this year?
I think I bring a good skill set to the team, and I like to put the puck in the net. I can move the puck pretty well, but defensively, I do struggle a little bit. It's not I don't struggle hugely, but it's definitely an area of improvement I would like to work on.
So the back checking side of things.
Maybe not the back checking side, maybe just defense.
Oh, just defense, okay. Nothing wrong with that. Now, for the expectations this week, the matchup with Elliott Lake, what are you expecting Elliott Lake to bring, and what can the fans expect from Sault Ste. Marie this weekend?
Well, last year Elliott Lake was a team that walked into our barn and just tried to kind of bring the intensity and lay the bod, and we like to skate. We're a pretty fast-moving team, so I think they'll come in and try to play a physical game with us again. So.
They've always been known for that physicality. Absolutely. Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel and Tyler Malpass here from the Soo Thunderbirds, and we're here at Northern Superior Brewing Company. And the Game Sports Show will have the partnership with the Soo Thunderbirds, obviously, with this year and going forward. And we're going to be at a lot of games this year for pregame and postgame as well. We're going to start going to the games officially in October, just for waiting for some stuff here with equipment and whatnot to be able to do such. Now, going to the lighter side. We've talked about this past weekend's games. We talked about this weekend coming up. Talk about yourself a little bit, and a little bit of fun stuff. We're going to get to the kind of the fun side of things in terms of questions. Okay, now we're going to start light a little bit before I get into a little bit of the funny personal questions. I want to ask you your favorite NHL team.
My favorite NHL team. You know, growing up in Minnesota, obviously I'm a big Wild fan.
Yeah.
But I will have to say my favorite NHL team will be the Detroit Red Wings.
Not a bad answer. Now, do you think Stevie Yzerman's going to go back home after stepping down?
Absolutely. Where else would he go?
Right?
You know? Why would he not go back?
I know, right? Unless he's going to Ottawa. Just kidding. Just kidding. Justin, you got a question?
Well, I mean, I asked Ryan last week. So when you're just chilling, your free time on the weekend, kicking it with the fellas, what are you guys usually up to? You just chill and watch TV, you game, you Fortnite it up like Ryan was doing, or what?
Well, yeah, obviously all the boys like to play a little bit of Fortnite, but if the weather's nice, we like to go and play a little basketball. You know, go do a little bit of swimming, some fun team activities we like to do.
Team activities. I like the emphasis on the team
good.
activities.
I
I
like
like that. Pre-game meal. Your go-to.
Pre-game meal, cook up a couple salmon burgers, throw it in a salad, put some rice in there, and sun-dried tomato dressing. Dressing, sorry.
Whenever you want to cook dinner for Justin and I, don't be shy to bring it by Northern Superior Brewing Company here. Now, favorite movie? That's a tough one.
Favorite movie, that's a tough one. You know, favorite actor's probably got to be Mark Wahlberg for sure.
Oh, okay. I like
But,
that.
Favorite movie, I'm gonna have to go hockey here. Probably Mighty Ducks.
This is one intelligent kid over here. We have a lot in common. I like that. Justin?
We're going through your playlist here. What's your top 5 you're playing in the locker room for a game? Or not top 5, just maybe top 2.
I like top 5. Screw it. I'm going to say go top 5.
Top 5?
Top 5. Let's go top 5. I like that. I'll let you pull out the phone. I like that. I like that. I'll let you pull out the phone. And while he's pulling out the phone, I will say to make sure you go down to the John Rhodes Community Center on Sunday to watch the Soo Thunderbirds play 7 p.m. as they host Elliott Lake. Now, Elliott Lake has been a turned around organization. Definitely going to be an exciting game to go watch. You're going to watch and support this talent here in Sault Ste. Marie. If it's the Thunderbirds, if it's the Midget Thunderbirds, any kind of local hockey, or the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, even that the Game Sports Show will be working closely with as well. Now, Justin asked Tyler about what his top 5 playlist is. Now, if that's too much, I will thought about here while I was talking. You can go 2, as I see you scrolling on your phone. I will let you pass, and you can talk with 2.
5 is tough.
It is
That's a
tough.
number of songs.
It is tough.
That's a lot of music.
It is.
I'll go top 2 here.
Top 2.
I'm a big Mac Miller fan. Rest in peace. He's actually just passed away.
Yeah.
I will have to say Diablo by Mac Miller. That one pumps me up.
Nice.
And other than that, I like to go rock, AC/DC. Probably gonna have to go Hell's Bells.
I like the old song. I like that. Now, if I go in your car right now and I hook up your phone, what is the last song I'm going to hear that you played? Now, I admitted last week that I listened to Alicia Keys, No One, before I came in here. So it's okay if you're listening to Britney Spears, if you're listening to whatever it may have been. What was the last song you listened to?
Last song I listened to, it was actually Mac Miller, Weekend by Mac Miller.
Definitely a tragedy that happens. Now, I wanted to ask one more question, but you know what? I'm not going to jump into that right now. I'm going to go to a conversation where we had a little agreement with that's going to get Justin fired up, and which gets us pretty excited to get into our hockey segment. But even before I do that, Justin, I'm going to take one of your questions I know you probably wanted to ask. Early prediction to win the Stanley Cup this year?
That's tough. You know, Vegas just got Pacioretty. They're looking good. But I might have to say Toronto Maple Leafs with the new signing of John Tavares.
Like that.
They're going to be pretty solid this year.
Like that. They just need a defenseman, which perfectly leads us into the transition of the next topic. No, yeah, that was on purpose. I was thinking he was going to say either Tampa or Toronto. And believe it or not, Toronto's actually top 5 favorites this year to win the Stanley Cup and with Vegas odds. But let's not toot our horns as a Leaf fan. Let's take a breath here. Let's talk about that decor. I saw this picture, Tyler. They'll make you laugh. This picture was a meme. It was a big guy, big upper body. The lower body was extremely skinny, and I mean legs. When I say lower body, get your minds out of the gutter if you're thinking something else. But big feet. Anderson was the feet. The legs were the defense, and the top was the offense that the Toronto Maple Leafs have. Now, we discussed before we went on air here that we were talking about somebody named Jake Gardiner. Now, followers on the show know that this gets brought up about 90% of the time, and I know the listeners love it because Justin and I disagree on the fit of Jake Gardiner within Toronto. Not saying he should get traded or not chirping him because he's in the National Hockey League. You know what? If I played him one-on-one or even yourself, we may pass him, we may not. I think we would. But besides the point, Jake Gardiner may be position of Toronto to potentially move on from Jake Gardiner, or at least bring something in to work with him. I don't know if that's fair enough to say. Tyler, I don't know if you want to make a comment about Jake Gardiner before I let Justin kind of talk about this, because I think you and I agreed that Jake Gardiner and the fit in Toronto should have maybe been moved on from.
Maybe a little bit. Obviously he plays in the show, so he's got to have a little bit of talent. But he doesn't move his feet very well, which from my viewpoint anyway, just from watching on the television. I don't know how good he is moving the puck. He can shoot the puck. Obviously, he can pass the puck to the power play. It's not too hard to pass the puck to Matthews or Nylander.
Or now Tavares.
Yeah, now Johnny T. But, I don't know. That's maybe let Justin talk about that.
Yeah, I like the keeping it simple with that. I'm not saying that I would chirp him. I'll say, Justin, that I've been harsh when it came to Jake Gardiner, as all fans were in Toronto. But what do you feel that we have someone else with agreeance of the Jake Gardiner kind of situation in Toronto?
I just firmly believe they haven't found a way to totally maximize his potential.
51 points last year. How can you get any better?
Because he can. His turnover thing, if you stop that nonsense, I don't know. This gets me mad all the time. And refer to our interview with Joe Bowen on my defense of Jake Gardiner.
Wow. We pulled that out of your card. Yeah. Okay. If Tyler with the Jake Bowen, wow. We mixed them together. The Joe Bowen show, me and Joe had a discussion about Jake Gardiner, and all he told me was, Dave, Jake Gardiner leads the team in plus minus. He said nothing else to say. So that was a mic drop to me. And when he got Mr. Holy Mackinac talking, I don't know what he would have said after that Game 7. We haven't had him on since. He is coming on at the end of the month. I'll have to ask him that. But the reason why I brought that up is the Jake Gardiner agreements here. So had to do that. Just slow it up.
It's fun to have people in on that. Anyway, once in a while we get a guy who wants to talk about it. I like that. Right? Oh, the season's coming up, so we can maintain this throughout the year. We'll have our Jake Gardiner charting throughout the season.
You know what's going to be, I think, one of the big... What him and I are going to talk about. I wonder if that's going to make or break. I just don't know yet.
I think you and Jake Gardiner should go helmets and gloves.
Helmets and gloves between Jake and I.
Yeah.
Who's got that in a poll? I got Jake. I Jake Gardiner. Jake, yeah, me too. I'd take Jake and that Tilly for sure.
Not gonna lie,
Tyler,
several dollars.
I wanted to say thank you for coming by. Definitely appreciate you coming by. We're going to get to know each other this year, be at the rink, and have you on again, hopefully. So definitely good luck on Sunday. Good luck for the remainder of the season. Try not to hurt that jaw anymore. If you do get a hurt jaw, Ryan's going to step in and deal the biz now, because now he's a fighter. Now he's a fighter now in my eyes. But definitely thank you for coming on by tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Fun being on the show with you guys.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be good this year with the partnership with the Game Sports Show and the Soo Thunderbirds, and you'll be seeing us a lot at the rink, and if we ever catch you in a little fight, we'll take a good video of it and make sure to put it on our website. So, once again, fans, the Soo Thunderbirds will be playing at the John Rhodes Community Center at 7 p.m. against Elliott Lake. Make sure you get your asses out to that game. There's my freebie. So we're going to let Tyler go. Justin and I are going to take a quick break. We're going to sip on the Northern Superior Brewery products. When we come back, Justin and I have a lot of National Hockey League news to jump into. The Erik Karlsson trade, with Steve Yzerman stepping down, William Nylander not at camp in Toronto. There's a lot of topics we're going to be jumping into. So you don't want to go anywhere. You're listening to the Game Sports Show.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
The Wicked Sister, Soo, Michigan. The Wicked Sister has managed to create a casual menu that offers unique, creative, and sometimes healthy offerings that rivals menu selections of any big city. Both the kitchen and the bar are filled with a staff who are exceptional at their jobs, producing signature items that have made The Wicked Sister a destination for foodies and beer nerds alike. On Ashman Street, Soo, Michigan. Welcome to The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsoo.as.me-. The Salon, making the Soo beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena, on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop for over 40 years meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Check out our brand new website up and running now at thegamesportshow.com. There you can find past broadcasts of all our shows from the Wicked Sister in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Boston Pizza and Sports Center Bar and Grill in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. As well, you can find our brand new t-shirts available for just $25 a shirt. All sizes are available and proceeds will go towards Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Now you can purchase the shirt by emailing thegamesportshowssm@gmail.com. Please state the total amount of shirts and size needed. They have payment options available, e-transfer, or cash upon delivery, as a shirt can be delivered to your location if you live in the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Ontario area free of charge. TheGameSportsShow.com, where you find all your local, regional, and national sports that you just can't get enough of.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig. I'm alongside Justin Hykel, and we're going to get into our Part 3 edition of our Thursday edition of the Northern Superior Brewing Company edition of the Game Sports Show. And boy, do we have lots to talk about in the National Hockey League, Justin. We have a whole bunch to talk about, don't you think?
Something happened this week? Did one or two things happen this week?
A couple things
Maybe
happened.
even three things happened this week?
Big three things, and even a little bit of a discussion that happened. Let's start off by saying it was a week that had trades involved, had signings involved, non-signings involved, captains being named. The NHL season's among us, my friend. We are weeks away from puck drop of perhaps the most exciting Maple Leaf season in recent years. Also one of the most exciting hockey seasons that I can recall a long time. All this movement that's happened this offseason, very exciting stuff. Like, this is the kind of stuff that happens in video games. This is the kind of excitement that the National Hockey League has provided to the fans of hockey. Very excited to come around. And we're going to jump into all the big news here, of course, for the Twin Zoo's only local, regional, and national sports talk. And we're obviously on the national part of the show right now, as we've already covered the local side of things with the Soo Thunderbirds. Now we're going to jump into the professional side of things. And there's a lot of news that surfaced with the National Hockey League this morning, this afternoon, and obviously today in the National Hockey League. Let's just jump off by saying right off the hop, Erik Karlsson gets traded to the San Jose Sharks in a trade that, let's just say, was a lot of players were exchanged. Very light to say. We had also this week Tyler Seguin gets an extension. We have William Nylander, who is still not present is so far not going to be present at Maple Leafs training camp. But is still not going to be reporting. It seems like until the contracts are negotiated. It seems like he's asking $8 million, when the Leafs are asking $6 million. So a little bit off, it seems like. You have captains being named, like Oliver Ekman Larsson being named captain of the Arizona Coyotes. You have Justin Williams. Justin Williams being announced captain of the Carolina Hurricanes as well. And you obviously have Stevie Yzerman stepping down as the GM with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And where is he going to go? A lot of stuff going on in the National Hockey League right now. And Justin, why don't we start off right off the hop? I want to start off hot. I want to start off with the big news that I read today on break from work, because I don't look at my phone at work. But Ottawa Senators trade Erik Karlsson to the San Jose Sharks. Now, here on the show, we predicted that Western Conference trade that was going to happen, maybe potentially Vegas. There was a potential discussion of him going to California, if there was some fits there, if there was anything of such like that. The Ottawa Senators have traded Erik Karlsson to the San Jose Sharks. Now, the trade included Erik Karlsson going to, obviously, the San Jose Sharks. For forward, Chris Terneri, defenseman Dylan DeMelio, and forward prospects Josh Norris and Rudolph Valkers, as well as first-round pick in 2029. Justin, I'm a little bit ahead of myself. It's a first-round pick in 2019 or 2020, and a second-round pick in 2019. So the first-round pick is a conditional pick, obviously. If the Sharks miss the playoffs in 2018-2019, that first round will be in 2019. Otherwise, it's a 2020 first-round pick that will go to Ottawa. And let's just say right off the hop that the Ottawa Senators have moved their captain to the San Jose Sharks, and now a San Jose Sharks team that is now much better than what they were this morning. Brent Burns, Mark-Edwin Vlasic, Erik Karlsson. What a great decor the San Jose Sharks already possess with having Joe Thornton up front. You have Couture, you have Pavelski. You have some good talent up front. And also, we can't forget how they've also signed Evander Kane to a big extension this year. A team that arguably may have jumped in to be one of the Stanley Cup favorites this year, the top five that we were actually talking about off of air. So let me just tell you right now that this trade for the Ottawa Senators, we predicted all summer to happen, and it finally has happened. It has happened. And Ottawa Senators fans that's not the only news they got today. Jean-Gabriel Pageau was out for 6 months. So, you still have Bobby Ryan's contract. You lose Pageau. You have Erik Karlsson. You trade Mike Hoffman. This season, for the Ottawa Senators, they have a chance of being one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. I would say flat out to you right now. And guess who has an opportunity to get their first overall pick this year? The Colorado Avalanche. In that Matt Duchene trade, the Ottawa Senators traded the first-round pick for that pick. And the Colorado Avalanche have a chance to get Hughes this year, the first overall pick, and they actually might. Now, Justin, the question I want to jump into is, what do you think from your end? How much better did the San Jose Sharks get, and how much worse did the Ottawa Senators get?
I mean, first off, I want to say, I guess the Leafs are that terrifying as far as the East goes. The two teams got to trade their captains this week.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have the leadership in place to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs, so... Or better yet, maybe they're taking the Leafs example and saying, we don't need a captain to win.
Yeah.
But you need players.
Yeah,
you do need players. And as far as the Ottawa thing goes, I mean, I guess I'm happy for Karlsson that it's over. And for Ottawa fans, not so happy, I guess, because you guys didn't seriously think this was going to happen.
We called it.
But whatever. I mean, I've got a good buddy who's a Senators fan, unfortunately. And he said today, this might be the thing that pushed me to the brink. I said maybe it being mediocre and losing to the Leafs all the time, but pushing the brink, it was Karlsson getting traded. But here we go.
Yeah.
As far as San Jose goes, I honestly think San Jose is probably one of the most terrifying teams now in the West,
especially defensively.
Just because of the speed they have. Like how they're going to be able to move that puck with Karlsson, with Brent Burns, and Brent Burns being able to be playing forward and defense. With Evander Kane now there for a full season. Pavelski's in a contract year. Just don't forget about that. Joe Thornton's on his victory lap. So I think there's a lot of things to look forward to there. It's good for Karlsson. He can move on. He's on the other side of the world, essentially, as far as hockey goes. So you can just shut it down, enjoy your life, and continue being the player that you are. For Ottawa, I don't know what they're doing. I honestly don't. I didn't like their return for this.
What are you doing?
I just thought it had to be a, here we are, this is what you get, see you later. I thought because this was announced such a long time ago that Ottawa wanted to get rid of him, that Ottawa wasn't going to maximize the return for the player. Is it a bad return? Not really, no, but when you don't have a first-round pick this year and you're chalking yourself up to be as bad of a team as you are, and that first-round pick could have went a long way to helping you move forward as a franchise.
And Justin, before we continue this topic, I do want to say the Catch the Ace pick has happened, and the individual did win $78,000. It was $78,000. However, he did not pick the eights. Yours truly did think it was number 20, but this guy did pick number 20 actually, and it was the Queen of Diamonds. So Justin Hykel is still on the board with his number 48 is the number that he went with, and that is actually your number, is it not? That is your number. So now there will be another week next week of Catch the Ace at Esquire, so we'll make sure you get down on that. But Justin, let's jump back into the topic because we have a sports show to do here. So Erik Karlsson, I feel that I'm going to actually disagree with you a little bit. I actually don't mind the return, and here's why though. Okay, I'm a fan of getting something for nothing. I've stressed that on this show for the Jays with Donaldson, who's actually not doing that well in Cleveland right now, may I say, but he is coming off rehabilitation start. He is also something for nothing in terms of trading for John Tavares when the Islanders didn't. The Leafs picked him up for absolutely free, except the $11 million cap hit. But we didn't trade anything for him. So at the end of the day, with something, I feel if you know a player is not going to re-sign with a team, you have to move him out. You have to get value. It shows respect for your organizations, respect for your fans. It's all around perfection. I don't understand why the Ottawa Senators wouldn't make a deal. Let's say they did talk to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which we know that they did. From sources confirmed. And we're not going to name those sources, and no, it's not Colin Miller. Just so everyone thinks this. Colin did not tell me jack shit. So it's from other sources that are close within the National Hockey League, the confirmed sources, that there was a lot of talk about Karlsson going over to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So what trade would have happened there? Maybe Nick Suzuki was in that trade, who now went over to the Montreal Canadiens. Maybe it was the first round pick. Maybe there was Nate Schmidt involved, right? Maybe there was, if I want to go with the forward, was Jonathan Marchessault involved in that? He was one of their top guys, but was he thrown in there? There's trades that didn't happen, and Ottawa's apparently trying to move Bobby Ryan in this trade. San Jose must have told him, hey, they must have been the only team that said, hey, do you want this trade or not? We're not taking Bobby Ryan. We've signed Evander Kane for the same money that Bobby Ryan is, and we want Evander Kane, not Bobby Ryan. So Karlsson, they had to get something for nothing, and they did. They absolutely did. They got a conditional first-round pick. It might be a 2020. They got a second. They got Tierney, who's a good power forward. They got some good, decent prospects that may not be the next Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Sidney Crosby, but they might be the next guys who are growing to be third-line guys in the National Hockey League. Guys that might make a decent impact.
So first-line Ottawa Senators players.
One of the first-line Ottawa Senators players, yeah, sure.
I'm just taking a jab there.
I like that.
In all seriousness, though, I'm just happy this thing's over.
He was not reporting to camp. He wasn't planning to report to camp anyways. Those reports were leaked over 72 hours ago.
But I don't think that's true.
Really?
I honestly don't, especially with his statement with the Ottawa media. Like, he met with the Ottawa media before the Ottawa Senators organization met with the Ottawa media. And the Ottawa Senators were too busy maybe meeting with Troy Borievsky and shooting another video to tell everybody what's going to be the future of the franchise with their buddy Eugene there. But the guy was the captain of your
and
your
arguably the best defenseman in the National Hockey League.
And I think he led with class from the time that he got the C to the time that he left today. He said that I never wanted to leave Ottawa. I'm not happy about the way this happened, but let's move forward. I'm happy to play hockey in San Jose.
So now this begs the question. If San Jose doesn't re-sign him, and they don't win the Stanley Cup, is that a trade that the Ottawa Senators win? Think about it for a second. Now, I actually think San Jose has a chance to re-sign him. We got somebody in a contract here named Joe Thornton, who is actually not that much, $5 million this year, which frees up a little bit of room. I think the San Jose Sharks have about $2 to $3 million in room, which that means there's $8 million for Karlsson. And hey, someone else named Joe Pavelski. Do they want to re-sign him? You got Logan there. You got Evander Kane. You got some good young blood there. Maybe go with the young guys. Do you give the money to Erik Karlsson? Maybe San Jose does. Or does Karlsson even want to re-sign? We don't know. It's still too early. But I'll tell you right now, when people ask for the grade of the Ottawa Senators getting this trade, I'm saying a B+. I know Justin says different. I'll let you explain. Give your grade and get you this explanation. But they're getting something for nothing. That is a fucking B- in my books right off the hop. These prospects, I don't fully know them. Like I know how Hughes is, or how I know what Philip Sladina from the Wings is, or how Noah Dobson is from the Islanders, or how these good guys are that are, and Brad Kutcher-Miller is a big fan of, obviously. But at the end of the day, they get value for something. And a lot of things is they had to move up. A lot of things. Ottawa Sun, NHL, MSN.com, Yahoo, all these different sites have said the same thing, how they had to move him. Erik Karlsson's going to ask for about 10 to 12 million. He's going to ask for the same as Drew Doughty. Ottawa offered him $10 million as per the Ottawa Sun, and he did not re-sign. He won a James Norris Trophy as the league's best defenseman. He has made some of the most disgusting plays I've ever seen as a defenseman. His class act, Justin, you're 150% right. But at the end of the day, the guy has 71 points in 2016, 2017. Lit up the playoffs that year. This year, his points did go down a little bit, and he didn't win the Hart Trophy by any means before. But at the end of the day, here's a guy that the Ottawa Senators drafted 15th overall in the first round, and is one of, if not the best, National Hockey League defensemen. I know people think Victor Hedman might be because of who's the reigning Norris winner. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Erik Karlsson, I'm still picking him over Hedman right now. I'm sorry. I truly am. And I really think that Erik Karlsson is going to be kept back to his old self in San Jose. Imagine having Brett Burns on the power play in San Jose. Never mind Mark Evan Vlasic. Vlasic is a defensive specialist. He's a true defenseman thinking through. There's a guy that I wish Toronto had, because he is truly a defenseman. That is a D guy who thinks D first.
That's all he is.
He's D.
He's a defenseman.
That's a defenseman.
There's no offensive defenseman. There's no special. He's a defenseman. That's it.
Yeah, and he does very well at it. San Jose is the best defensive team in the National Hockey League this year. Mark my words. And with that, Erik Karlsson getting moved. I grade this. High grade for the Ottawa Senators. Like I said, I'm a fan of getting something for nothing. They were not re-signing. They offered $10 million. Maybe they went up to 12. They said no. Why don't we jump into the Mike Hoffman thing for a second with my point here? What happened with the drama? Does that do with the Ottawa Senators? No, it's not the Ottawa Senators' fault, but the way they handled it is their fault. The way the Ottawa Senators handled that situation with Karlsson and with Hoffman is an absolute fucking joke. What I like about part 3 of the show is I get free reins. I get the reins taken off my neck a little bit here, so I'm going to speak from the heart and say the Ottawa Senators franchise right now is labeled as a fucking joke. They are. And I'm sorry, I feel like Sid Cicero right now, and you're Tim McAuliffe, because you're listening to me right now saying, yep. And I'm the one cursing and saying, fuck this, F that. But at the end of the day, this is a family show. and I do apologize for swearing ahead of time, besides the point, I'm speaking facts. The Ottawa Senators did not handle this right, and their owner, God bless him, I know he's went through sickness, it doesn't matter. This is business right now. We're talking business. It's like we're a business with the Game Sports Show. We're a media business. We strive on this kind of news. They lost a first-round pick this year that is going to be a first overall pick this year.
They didn't lose it.
They traded it.
They gave it away.
Was it worth it?
No,
was it worth it?
It wasn't worth it. If you were planning on, if I knew in the instant that they were trading that pick,
Enters.
for Matt Duchene to just, hey, we're gonna blow up the franchise and hope that someone's interested in moving this garbage pile of a hockey team to LeBron Flats. Like that's all this is. That's all this is by Melnick is a power play to sandbag the team right now, have them look like trash so that he has the justification to move them out of Canada, move them to downtown Ottawa. It's a garbage team no one wants to watch. If we move the team into Ottawa, then people are going to go to the games.
A lot more. What was the joke that they had in the playoffs? They had absolutely no fans in there.
Well, the joke in the playoffs, the Ottawa Senators.
Absolutely. And the joke, here's the thing. They got players there that they can actually get value for. Craig Anderson, there's teams that need goalies out there.
And didn't
Last
he
I
demand
checked,
a trade this summer?
Was that?
Didn't Anderson demand a trade this summer?
There's a lot of...
Like, I think that was the word on the street.
Yeah, so let's be real. Who needs a goalie? I'm throwing you under the bus, Elliot. You know who needs a goalie? The Philadelphia Flyers.
Everybody needs a goalie.
Basically every team needs a goalie. The Ottawa Senators have to take this approach right now and say, holy shit, I traded Erik Karlsson. Okay, but what did I do before that? I traded for Matt Duchene. I traded for a first-round pick because I thought I was going to make the playoffs. And let me tell you, I wasn't going to make the playoffs.
How does Matt Duchene feel?
Oh, Matt Duchene's sitting there saying, well, I guess Colorado wasn't so bad. Because the last I checked, you got to play with Nathan McKinnon and Gabriel Landeskog. And the last I checked, Nathan McKinnon's one of the Hart finalists this year next to Taylor Hall. So be careful what you wish for. He goes to Ottawa, and they struggled ever since they got him. When the Ottawa Senators got Matt Duchene, the Ottawa Senators struggled. That was when the turning point of the franchise was. Yep, we're going to trade for Matt Duchene because we're thinking we're going to make the playoffs. Did you not do the matchups? Did you not look at yourself and say, Tampa, Boston, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Columbus? Did you not look at any of that and say, you know what, do we compare to these teams? I'm going to trade my first-round pick next year and Kyle Turris. Well, you forget about the guy that went to Nashville and was a second-line center in Nashville. And they lost to the friend of the shows and coach Paul Maurice, is Winnipeg Jets. But at the end of the day, Erik Karlsson gets moved for something. Now you're thinking, okay, shit, that trade sucks. How can we salvage that? We move Erik Karlsson. We move that distraction. We've already moved Hoffman. They got Bodker already. They got some young guys there. I've always been a fan of Michael Bodker, to be a total fan of you, or to be totally honest with you guys, the listeners and yourself, Justin.
I've been a fan of Michael Bodker to fill a body on a roster as well.
Yep. What did Toronto do when they won the first overall pick?
You grabbed a hodgepodge of people.
Yep.
And you put them together with Peter Horacek, and you said, God bless.
But here's the problem. This year, Ottawa can't finish last. You know why? Because Colorado gets that.
No. Special Agent Guy Boudreau is on it, so don't worry.
Oh, it's you think Eugene Melnick is on this right now?
No. Our buddy Eugene is too busy still lamenting over the Danny Heatley contract.
I honestly think if I'm the Ottawa Senators right now, your goal this year is to finish second last in the division. And you want Detroit to finish under you. That's what you want. You don't want that first overall pick. You can swallow a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th pick going to Colorado. Maybe even a 4th and a 3rd. Maybe. That's a tough pill. But the 1st or 2nd? Absolutely not. And we went on this topic for the first 20 minutes of this segment. We got not even 15 minutes left. So we got to keep it as short as we possibly can. So just to say quickly, they got something for nothing. But the goal for the Ottawa Senators is to move the veteran guys, take the Toronto Maple Leaf approach. Not because I'm a biased Toronto Maple Leaf fan, because it's worked. It worked for the Kings. It worked for the Leafs. It worked for the Hawks. It worked for Boston. They signed Chara. They had Bergeron up and coming. They drafted Bergeron. They went through trusted ranks. They won a cup. Chicago, same thing. LA, same thing. Detroit made the playoffs 25 years in a row based on their drafting. They had Eichmann, Lindstrom. Made the list go on. Shanahan. The list can go on and on and on. How the team has to build from within the organization. And the Ottawa Senators now have a lot of young guys. White. I'm a big fan of Colin White. Big fan. That guy is going to be a stud. You have Tkachuk. I'm a big fan of the Tkachuk bloodline. You have guys in there that are going to get the job done for you. Move the veterans as best as you can. Get something for nothing. Build in the draft. Hire the right draft people. Bring in young guys that have the analysis and also can help you draft. Don't finish last this year. Then you might be able to salvage this absolute dumpster fire. Because if you don't, you're going to get freaking moved anyways to the Quebec Nordiques within the next couple of years if you don't salvage this absolute atrocity of an absolute dumpster fire piece of shit joke that's going on.
Okay, let's move on from the beating the dead horse here.
Yeah, I like that.
We've been jumping over this all summer, since March, essentially. It's over, the Band-Aid's gone, let's just move forward. Montreal's a garbage pile too that we have to shit all over. So
quickly, that's where our next thing is going, a trade between the Montreal Canadiens. Moving on from that, I will say I didn't mean any harsh words towards Ottawa, but it has been a joke. So you have to salvage this as best you can. So going to another team in the Eastern Conference, the Montreal Canadiens made a very good trade. I did grade Ottawa on being a B+. I like that trade they did. I'm a big fan, so I didn't even need to chirp on it. But Max Pacioretty going over to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Nick Suzuki. Top pick. For a player that does not want to be part of that organization. And again, a distraction all summer. Getting something for nothing. Big fan. Vegas re-signed him to a big 4-year, $7 million cap hit. It's the same amount as James Van Riemsdyk. And I'm sorry, Justin, I'm taking Pacioretty over JVR any day of the week. Sorry, JVR, you're talented, but you put Montreal or Pacioretty on a team that can give him the puck and score goals. He is one of the most dominant wingers in the National Hockey League.
I mean, statistically, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think they've done that. I think they've been on the same team, and I think it was Team USA. And I think statistically, James Van Riemsdyk was better than Max Pacioretty. Maybe I'll base it solely on that James Van Riemsdyk has a soul and looks like he cares about his teammates. Maybe Max Pacioretty was just burnt out with the nonsense going on in Montreal. I'm not 100% sure about that. But, I mean, me personally, I'm taking JVR over Max Pacioretty every day of the week.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
That easy.
No questions asked. I've watched a lot of Montreal games, and I've watched a lot of Toronto games at JVR. And to be honest, even in a bad game, you get an extra 5-10 minutes of hard work out of JVR than you get out of Max Pacioretty. If the game isn't going his way by the end of the first, he's sandbagging it for the next 2 periods. It's like he's the reincarnation of Alexei Kovalev. Hey, I'm good and I got talent, but I don't give a fuck if we're losing, and I can't pad my stat sheet for my fantasy hockey team.
Here's the thing. The Montreal Canadiens got in return Tomas Tatar, who Vegas traded a first, a second, and a third for. If you recall, we were upset about the value that Vegas gave up to Detroit. We were talking about at Boston Pizza, the trade deadline show that we had back in February, my God. The Habs got Tomas Tatar, Nick Suzuki, a second-round pick, which is that high pick I was talking about. And Montreal also retains 10% of Max Pacioretty's salary. So, and in turn, Las Vegas re-signed him to that big contract. So, I'm a fan of Tomas Tatar, and I'm a fan of Nick Suzuki. Tatar's on the first line in Montreal right off the hop. Him, Gallagher, and Domi playing middle?
He has to be on the first line because there already wasn't anyone on the second or third. So, I mean, he's the guy on the first line. That guy. He's the one guy on Montreal's first line.
The one guy.
Yeah.
The one guy. Now, as we understand, people are asking what the next captain's going to be. If it's going to be Weber, it's going to be Gallagher, or if it's going to be, I believe, another name that was surfacing on that as well was maybe even, believe it or not, Domi, I think, was surfacing on that. But
realistically, the way Montreal's
offseason,
the way Montreal's offseason has gone, I'm pretty sure that the Canadian, or Bergevin personally, would trade anyone at this point for even Josh Donaldson from Cleveland. So maybe Josh Donaldson will be the next captain of the Montreal Canadiens.
I like that joke. I like that. End of the day, this trade, I actually grade Montreal as an A-. Let me tell you why. Why it's higher than Karlsson. Pacioretty is not even close. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's the captain of the team, but Karlsson was definitely a bigger effect. I think Karlsson's won a Norris Trophy where Pacioretty has not even come close in trophy rates, but a very steep National Hockey League depth forwards. But at the end of the day, the impact in the organization is similar. So Max Pacioretty getting this move, I agreed. Montreal Canadiens is an A-. An A- for this trade. Justin. An A-. And here's why. Something for nothing grades an automatic B in my book. Secondly, you're rebuilding. That's another additional to my points. Nick Suzuki is a very, very good prospect. People don't know how smart he is and how quick he is. He has Montreal written all over him.
Is he a center?
Apparently both, but he's drafted as a winger.
Okay, as long as he's a winger, because if he was a center, Montreal would immediately force him onto the wing and ruin his career.
Good point. No, a second-round pick. We all know how second-round picks can turn out.
Yeah.
You never know. Shea Weber's been a pick, second round. He has PK Subban as a pick as well in the second round.
Or you could send it to Colorado for nothing. And then sandbag the entire season.
Sandbag the entirety of the season. But aside, Tomas Tatar is a good player as well. We can't put aside Tomas Tatar. But let me tell you, there's a guy that they're going to flip. That guy is not staying in Montreal past the trade deadline. If he does, I will literally be more shocked than I was during the New Orleans and Minnesota Vikings game in the playoffs past year. Sorry, I had to bring that up based on what's going on our show last night. And also wouldn't be more surprised of Jake Gardner's giveaways in the third period in Game 7 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I won't beat that either. Point of my point.
What is the point of your point, Dave?
Tomas Tatar is going to get moved at the deadline. Montreal is rebuilding. Ottawa is rebuilding. Tampa, Boston, Toronto are the kings of that division. Detroit's rebuilding. Two teams rebuilding, Detroit's retooling. And Max Pacioretty going to the Las Vegas Golden Knights was a very good move by Montreal finally moving him. I think that's actually one of Bergevin's best trades. But he didn't handle it well again. But Justin, we've got minimum time. We got to keep moving on here. Let's jump into Steve Yzerman. Stevie Wonder. What the hell is going on here? That is the biggest surprise. Yes, it is a surprise, and I'll tell you why it's a surprise. Because the Tampa Bay Lightning, we felt that was a long-term fit for him in Tampa Bay. He is staying on as an advisor for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's for the year, apparently. I don't know what that means. Is Ken Holland stepping down at the end of the year, or what's going on here?
He only had a year left in his contract. My understanding of the situation is what came up was there's a lot of interest in our assistant GM from other teams, so we have the potential to trade him for assets. Do you want to extend your contract because there's only 1 year left? No. I want to spend more time with family. Yada, yada, yada. All right, then we're going to offer your assistant GM, I forget his name, so that's gone from my brain right now.
Yeah, we'll get producer Ghost on that.
And they offered the assistant GM the job. He said it on Tim and Sid the other day. Like, this was all handled in July.
Julian Bourgeois, I think.
I believe Julian something or other.
Yeah, you keep going, you're good.
But this was essentially, like, inside the Tampa Bay Lightning organization, this had been common knowledge since July at some point in time. So, to us, it's shocking because you see it come out a week before training camp, and it's like, wow, you left a potential Stanley Cup championship team to do that.
A very good and deep team that has actually been favorites to surface to acquire Antemi Panarin as well, if you want to go into that realm.
But, I mean, you kind of have to believe that maybe Stevie Y does want some time with family. I mean, the guy's been doing hockey stuff since the 80s.
Julian Brisebois. Producer Ghost has confirmed that.
And his interview on Tim and Sid the other day was really good. Like, I thought he was really well spoken. He had some interesting things to say. I can't quote him on anything here because I don't remember a lot of it right now, but it was a good interview. I don't think Tampa's in bad hands with him. I think there's probably going to be a bit of a learning curve there, and you're probably going to see Tampa be par for the course this year. Now that the Karlsson thing's over with, you're not going to see them waver from the roster that they have. I think he's going to sit put with what he's got. You got 3, UFA defensemen going into next year, so maybe they make a move at the trade deadline and moving a defenseman, bringing in another defenseman. But again, with the Karlsson big fish gone off the table, who knows? We got to wait for the media to drum up the next big trade for us to talk about.
Definitely a lot of action-packed news here, Justin, with Karlsson, with Pacioretty, and now with Stevie Wonder Yzerman stepping down, staying in as an advisory role. Definitely one of the most surprising moves that we have seen. We knew that the Erik Karlsson trade was going to happen. We knew that the Max Pacioretty trade was potentially going to happen, even though it had a little bit of a put out on the fire at that golf tournament. But then when you look at that awkward handshake between Pacioretty and Bergevin, then you think of, okay, this is still not over. And then Steve Yzerman drops a bomb on the National Hockey League, and who knows why. You got to think that the interest has always been for him to go back to the Detroit Red Wings. The guy's a Stanley Cup champion with the Detroit Red Wings. At the same time as well, he is a guy that wanted to go to Tampa Bay, maybe spend some time, Tropic Sun, a very good hockey team, try to lead him to a championship. Now, is it like a Lou Lamoriello thing where he spends in this advisory role less than a few weeks and then moves on to Detroit to take a president's role or do something similar to Shanahan? Or is it a matter of time before Ken Holland steps down? Is this going to be a 2-week advisory role for Yzerman? Is it going to be 2 weeks, or is he going to become something in an organization by the end of the year? Is he really going to live out the year in Tampa, or is it going to be 2 weeks? I'd like to get the listeners' take on the Steve Yzerman thing. I think it's a foregone conclusion that I think he's going to end up in the Detroit Red Wings organization. End of the story. That's where I think he's always wanted to end up. Moving on from the big 3 news in terms of the National Hockey League in the past, let's just say week, but I want to say within even the past 72 hours, if you want to go that far. We had some captains get announced today. Oliver Ekman Larsson was named the captain of the Arizona Coyotes, given so based on that contract. It must have been a part of that contract deal for him. He's one of the best players, one of the best players on Arizona right now. And Justin Williams was announced the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes as well, along with Corey Schneider. For the New Jersey Devils, may miss the start of the regular season due to injury. Now, speaking of the start of the season, Tyler Seguin signs an 8-year contract extension with the Dallas Stars, $9.85 million per season through 2026 and 2027. 8-year contract extension with the Dallas Stars. Now, I honestly think that at the end of the day, this trade this signing really marks the key for Austin Matthews amongst the company in Toronto, along with a few others as well. But at the end of the day, Tyler Seguin gets signed for $9.85 million contract extension. At the end of the day, would be a very good deal for Matthews, or actually any organization of that kind of caliber. I really think the signing money that they got for Seguin is going to be one of the best contracts in the National Hockey League in the next couple of years. When the cap goes up, money goes up, and stuff happens, for him to be signed that cheap and to have the impact that Seguin has, sure, you can look at him and look at it as a cancer in the locker room and say what you want to say about him. We don't know if that's true from an EA perspective for sure. We have no proof. But at the end of the day, Tyler Seguin is one of the best centers in the National Hockey League, and he can play both center and wing. And he is signed only for $9.85 for a guy who could score up to 85-plus points a season. Last I checked, Tavares had almost similar numbers last year. He's signed for 11 in Toronto. Now, Seguin is not Tavares. I think Tavares is better than Seguin. But at the end of the day, is he really almost $2 million better? Yes, I would say maybe. But let's look at it from that standpoint. Now you're looking at it with the age difference. Seguin's not as old as Tavares either. Doesn't have the repertoire or the background that Johnny T has either.
Yeah, well, Tavares hasn't been traded twice.
Yeah, or doesn't have the market.
Hasn't trashed as many hotel rooms at the Spengler Cup. Doesn't have the character issues.
Yep. But is 9.85 a gamble?
100%.
Yeah.
100 million% with Tyler Seguin. I honestly thought at some point that Ottawa was maybe just going to cave and take Seguin and swap Karlsson.
Wow.
Like, I honestly thought that was...
Would you have done that trade if you were Ottawa or Dallas?
I would have done it if I was Ottawa.
If you were Dallas?
No.
No, okay.
If I was Ottawa, 100%. Why wouldn't you? It essentially gives you two top lines.
Yeah.
So
it does.
What do you have to lose with that? You lose a defenseman, but you make up for it with
Tyler
top lines. So
4 lines?
No.
Sorry, okay. Sorry, I made a joke out of that from Letterkenny. People know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Inappropriate reference.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's a lot.
But yeah, I don't know. I've never been a big Tyler Seguin guy. I think he's just immature. And I don't think he's really ever... I mean, his numbers are a totally different thing, because I can't say he hasn't lived up to the money, because if you look at his numbers, he has. I just don't think that he's going to be a constant performer at that level. I really don't. Prove me wrong, I guess.
So you think that maybe he might drift off?
100%. I think based on some just what we've seen. I mean, maybe he's grown up off the ice a little bit, and he's cleaned up his act a little bit, but I'm trying to think of his name from Nashville there. All the talent in the world, and then his personal life just went off the rails, and that's how it went. I'm going to have to
Mr. Producer Ghost can get that, but Timo Suter, Weber,
no,
Fisher,
no. A player.
Martin Erat.
No. Think of a player whose life has gone off the rails.
Austin Watson.
They gave him all the money in the world, and then all of a sudden he was touching babysitters and doing the nose beers and everything else.
I'll give you and Producer Ghost the range to find that one. But end of the day, I think that Tyler Seguin's deal is a gamble. I'm going to sort of disagree with Dustin. Justin, that's an insult. I apologize. Justin, in terms of, well, I don't think he's going to drift off. He will remain a top 2 center in the National Hockey League. They signed him, though, for top dollar center. So does that mean that it's a drift off or it was an overpayment? That remains to be seen. Still a young, talented center that the Toronto Maple Leafs gave up for Phil Kessel. Mike Ribeiro. There's the guy that Justin was talking about. Producer Ghost and Justin confirmed there with Mike Ribeiro. So this is the trade that, like I was saying, Seguin to Toronto. Toronto traded for Kessel, went to Boston. Boston has officially received nothing for Kessel after everything. Boston loses Seguin due to issues in the locker room and just the trade in general that involved Louis Eriksson, and just a questionable trade as to why, which makes sense why based on what we've learned in the media. Then he goes over to the Dallas Stars. They missed the playoffs a couple of years out of a couple of years, and they haven't been the team as they projected to be after they signed Jason Spezza and acquired Tyler Seguin. So was it a good move, really? I still think it's a gamble for the Dallas Stars, but also a good move if he can keep up to the performance that he has been doing the past couple of seasons. Moving on. quickly going to say that Artemi Panarin and Sergei Bobrovsky have put their contract talks on hold with the Columbus Blue Jackets. You got to think that Bobrovsky will stay with the Columbus Blue Jackets depending on Korpisalo's issue. But I guarantee you, Artemi Panarin gets traded by Columbus this year to one of Toronto, one of Tampa, one of Vegas, or one of Dallas. Those are the 4 teams that I guarantee you Panarin potentially goes this year. But if I'm Toronto, they'll make that trade because you need a defenseman. Moving on now to the final topic that we are going to discuss, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I'm going to brag to holy heck because everybody knows I like to brag. John Tavares, Patrick Marleau, and Morgan Reilly were each named alternate captains by Toronto Maple Leafs for this season. Tavares and Marleau are replacing Komarov and Bozak. And I have said since the start that those would be the A's if the C's were not announced. I really think Toronto should be giving the C to someone named Patrick Marleau for the next couple of years until they hand it over to Johnny T or Austin Matthews. But Austin Matthews is not on that list of A's, and Marner's on that list of A's. Ron Hainsey is not even on that list of A's, as I thought maybe he would be considered. But that is a good group of assistant captains that were announced. Kyle Dubas told TSN that he didn't think the Leafs would have a captain this season once again. Now, I am kind of on the fence with this because center Austin Matthews was thought to be in line for captaincy, but he won't even wear a letter. Now, I don't know if that matters. I don't know if they're just kind of letting Austin do his thing and see how he reacts to this to potentially give him the C, but to give him a C over Tavares or even Marleau would be hard to do from a leadership perspective. So, Justin, Austin Matthews, not getting a letter. John Tavares getting an A. Marleau, Morgan Reilly. Reilly already had an A last year. Kadri doesn't get an A, but we know that the leadership wasn't a thing with Kadri. It's Babcock changing his game to the player that he is now. Besides, it hit from behind in Game 1 in Boston, which is absolutely foolish, which I'm sure he's heard a lot of since. Are you surprised that the Leafs do not have a captain this year? Because to be honest, I am.
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, they've gone this long without a captain. The last captain you had was a giant pile of shit, so it didn't mean anything other than jersey sales at a time when jerseys weren't selling. And now you have an established leadership group that has been through the ups and downs. You've added another guy who wore the letter on a different team.
As the captain.
Yeah, and you brought him in as an A, as no disrespect to the other guys who've been sitting around with the A's on their chest for a couple of years. And now everyone in the most reasonable, non-overreacting media market in the universe is going bonkers as to why a guy who can't even drink in the United States isn't the captain of the most under-the-microscope professional hockey franchise in the world. What 20-year-old Fortnite addict would you want being the captain of your team? Why wouldn't you? I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm saying this is the Leafs are sheltering him still because he's a kid. That's how that works. They're doing it right. Why would you want a 20-year-old guy to be the captain of your team that has 39-year-old men on the roster? It doesn't work. As far as a respect thing goes, it doesn't work. But there's going to be a time and a place. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disputing that he's not going to wear the letter. But they're still forming that person that's going to be wearing the C. It's not a finished product yet. He's not ready. He's not ready for a letter. Maybe by the end of the year he is, but right now he isn't.
To be honest, I thought Marleau should get it this year based on having a year and him having the C in San Jose, but I get through the process with it.
It's tough to put the C on a guy who's not there at the end of the year. His contract's up. This is year 3 for him. Is it year 3?
2.
So
he has one more year, but is he going to
year.
play? Is he going to play though? That's what you mean. Is he going to play?
That's the other thing. In all honesty, I thought he was in the last year of his contract. But again, when you look at the age thing, it's a whole other thing. I honestly think him and Joe Thornton are a package deal as far as retirement goes. When Joe goes or he goes, the other one goes.
That's just how that goes.
Who, if the Leafs win the cup, then who gets it then? I'm not saying they're winning the cup this year, but everyone looks at it like that. Who goes and gets it? Is it Johnny T or is it Marleau? Or is it Reilly?
It's Morgan Reilly.
Or is it Frederick Anderson?
In my mind, absolutely no doubt it's Morgan Reilly.
Wow. Why Reilly?
It's just my gut reaction.
Because of... Okay.
He's been there.
Yep.
He was one of the first players that was drafted as the solution. And he stayed. He's still there.
So does he get consideration for the C then?
Why wouldn't he? I think he's been the natural fit for a while.
Your best defenseman, which is questionable.
But if he's on another team and he's another team's best defenseman, you're picking him up in fantasy hockey. You're going to talk about him. Because he's on your team, you have him under the microscope. If Jake Gardner's on the Minnesota Wild scoring 51 points on your fantasy hockey team, you don't give a fuck about what Jake Gardner's doing aside from his 51 points. That's all you're interested in. You're overanalyzing a little bit. You just gotta let it be a little.
I'm a fan of
the
captaincy finally getting on somebody's jersey, and I wish it would have been Patrick Marleau. But congratulations to Tavares and to Morgan Reilly and Patrick Marleau getting the A on the jerseys for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Justin, action-packed show as always tonight. We've run a total of 19 minutes so far, above what we figured we would go to and what we're allowed. But we discussed a lot of news that happened in the National Hockey League. We discussed the Soo Thunderbirds with Tyler Malpass coming on by, and what a great guest he was.
A good dude.
A great kid. We've had back-to-back great guests. I'm guessing all the Thunderbird players are fantastic, great kids, and obviously 2-0 to start their season. So Justin, you and I, we're going to be back at Sports Center Bar and Grill on Wednesday at 9 p.m. And we're also going to be back here at Superior on Friday at 6 p.m. is the projected date. Myself and Scott Nason will be at the Wicked Sister on Monday, however. Now, to you, the listeners out there, we will not be talking about MLB baseball due to time constraints on this show, so it is going to be strictly just a hockey edition of the show. But I will say about the MLB, how about Josh Donaldson's start in Cleveland? Hasn't been that bringer of rain, has it been? But give him time. He's still rehabbing. Aaron Sanchez had a good outing in his last outing. The Jays still trying to salvage it. You're getting a lot of rookies in the lineup. I like what you guys are doing, getting the rookies in the lineup. Keep doing that. You guys are out. Let the rookies play. Let the young guys like Randall Britchick get some confidence back into being a good ball player like he is. Blue Jays doing it right now, believe it or not. Can't believe I'm saying that. Definitely congratulations to the Boston Red Sox getting 100 wins in the season. And also want to give a shout out to Superior Hellcats in the Men's Open Baseball League here in Sault Ste. Marie as they defeated yours truly's Renegades in the finals in Men's Open Baseball as we lost 10-1 in the finals. Definitely a great game by the Hellcats, pitched, hitting, great team that they had this year. Congratulations to the Hellcats on getting the win. Next year, like I said on radio, you better watch out because the Renegades are getting a full new facelift with a new sponsor. I'll give you a tip of what the sponsor is. You're listening to the show right now with new jerseys and a couple new guys coming on board as we plan to do some sponsoring as well, and we plan to defeat you next year in the finals. Sorry, Slugs. You got the Hellcats and yours truly to deal with next year. But we discussed hockey, local and professional perspective, a little bit of baseball news there for you. As I stated, next week, Wicked Sister on Monday, 6 to 8, Sports Center 9 till 10:30, and here next week, not Thursday, we're usually here on Thursdays, but we will be here on Friday next week at 6 p.m. until about 7 p.m. And we also plan to be at the Soo Thunderbirds games at the end of the month going into the beginning of October, and we're also playing some big shows ahead with David Marasco and some Sioux Greyhounds players with the importance of education here on the Northern Superior Brewing edition of the show, and also with meeting Dan Stewart and also Simon from the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, Dan Stewart being the goalie coach, Simon being the equipment manager with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds as well. Plan to get them on the show to discuss some stuff and our partnership with the local perspective with the Thunderbirds, Hounds, and even the Sioux Eagles and the Midget Thunderbirds as well. Looking forward to that, along with our national sports talk as well. Hopefully Brad Kutchermiller can come on next week, as he has had a busy time with Sioux today and the Sioux Greyhounds and local coverage as well. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors here, Northern Superior Brewing Company, obviously Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Wicked Sister, Pingator Cleaners, those two places being over in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. North Shore Sports and Auto, Superior Post Shop, The Salon, Discover the Canvas, Northern Clears in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, Campbellage Hockey, Silver Creek Golf Course, and Northern Signs here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Silver Creek Golf Course editions with 2 more shows remaining this year. We will let you know those dates in the very near future before we close out the Creek editions until next summer. If you're listening to the Game Sports Show, you've been listening on the Podbean page, please ensure to follow. Also, if you're listening been on the website, if you have been listening on the website, veer over to the merchandise section and email the Game Sports Show ssm@gmail.com to purchase your shirt for $25. Also, follow our Instagram page that is newly refreshed and it's going to have prizes announced on there as well at the Game Sports Show SSM. Now, Justin, I want to say thank you for coming on by. I want to say thanks to Scott Nason and to you, the listeners, for making us a part of your night. Scott, you always do a great job. Justin, great job tonight, and we'll see you next week.
I'll be here, with bells on. Unless I win the Catch the Ace jackpot next week, then maybe I'll be in a coma somewhere.
Let me tell you right now, if we win that next week, while I'm at the night of Jerry Stagg, I will tell you right now, I will be going to Vegas that night. I'll be messaging Colin Miller that I'll be coming over to Vegas to hopefully get some coverage of the Vegas Golden Knights camp even, or something like that. So, yours truly sign off here on the Game Sports Show, going to the conclusion portion of the show. Before I even do that, I just got told from producer Ghost, must remember that we did not forget about the trivia challenge with Silver Creek Golf Course. When we have our next Silver Creek edition, we will announce the winner with that, or we might intertwine it with our next Northern Superior edition for your chance to win a chance to golf at Silver Creek, or something, a prize at the Game Sports Show at Silver Creek Golf Course and Northern Superior Brewery. And I should also mention, as I said at the top of the show, the game Blondale, we're going through a little delays of that because of based on the sales here and the busyness is Northern Superior, but we will have a beer launched on behalf of the show. The next projected date now has been pushed to November 1st. So hold your orders. We will be in touch with you on terms of the launch date. Going to the conclusion. Keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.